Beginning from midnight today, a section of the third mainland bridge in Lagos will be completely shut for 2 days.
Well, this is to allow for repair works to be carried out on the bridge. The affected section is between Adekunle and Adeniji, where the contractor is expected to complete the first stage of casting works.
The bridge will be reopened for vehicular movement midnight on Sunday, the 11th of October. But joining us in the studio is Lagos Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Olusegun Ogungbemide. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Now, the past few months have not been, of the partial closure of the third mainland bridge have not been interesting, if I may use that word, for a lot of motorists in Lagos. They have had one complaint or the other. And now we are having a total closure of a section of the bridge. What are the alternative routes? That is the concern for a majority of motorists in Lagos. What alternative routes, what are the plans put in place by your corporation to address whatever issues that may arise?
Thank you very much. Let us first of all remove the impression that the closure is a total one. All right. Because the Adekunle to Woroshoke end of the third mainland bridge is still open, and the Ebute Meta, which will take you to Macaulay, where you can link Ido through Kata, is still opened. So it's just the Adeniji to Adekunle bonds, that are the two sides that is being closed on the demand of the contractor to enable them have the final casting of the face they are working on now, to avoid vibration that could affect the job. And in reaction to the agitation of the public, is a very responsive effort, because we are picking weekend, where the traffic on Third Mainland Bridge must have reduced by 70%. It's not the peak period of Monday till Friday, because the closure is going to commence from 12 midnight today. So the peak period is still free.
So Lagosians have nothing to worry
about?
They
have nothing to worry about, because what we are just trying to manage is just the 20% that will be making use of the...
So what alternatives now do we have for people who will be making use of the bridge at that time?
The alternative has not changed. Just as we have had it right from the past 3 months. The routes have been worked on. Like I told you, we have... If you are going towards the highland and you get to Ebute Meta, you can still make use of that Ebute Meta, Adekunle, Yaba, Macaulay, born to Ido, to the highland. Right. And if you are coming, you can still use all the alternative routes that we have been using in the last 3 months.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
Okay, but how do you intend to curtail the traffic? Because, you know, Lagos is unpredictable. You might say 20% of people go out on a weekend, but on that weekend, there might be a lot of people going out, activities on the island.
The fact that we have closed the Adekunle to Adeniji totally is an indication that we are diverting our workforce to the alternative routes. So we have fortified, as with our deployments, we have fortified the other routes so that we know there's going to be more pressure. Even the additional 20% that we envisage is still additional pressure on those routes. So we have diverted our deployments. We have more men on those routes that we are envisaging that there will be pressure. And because of the incessant breaking down of trucks and vehicles that we do have, we have deployed also enough recovery vehicles. I'm talking of 2 trucks now that are going to be handy. That's in addition to the men that will be there to assist. In the last 3 months, we've been able to manage this. In as much as we appreciate that the pressure, the pains are there, but we are getting towards the end of it.
So 2 days shouldn't be a challenge?
It's just, like I said, it's a very responsive and responsible effort to make sure. It will have been on Monday, it will have been done in the working days, but we know the importance of what that bridge is to Lagosians going to island or mainland at the peak period. That's why they decided to pick. So the only day that we might be really losing is Saturday. That is going to be a full day. 12 midnight, between now and 12 midnight, the road is free. And from 12 midnight till 12 midnight on Sunday, that is when we are going to have the partial closure. So I think we should be able to still manage through.
So if we are looking at the number of men you're deploying, you talked about 20% of them that will be manning there. Will talk to us about perhaps the level of collaboration with other agencies to also address these issues.
That's exactly what has taken us to where we are today.
Oh.
Effective collaboration. We have the LASMA, we have the police, we have the civil defense. You know, the manning of the 3rd Mainland Bridge is 24 hours.
Right.
And it's not possible for FRSC to be there because of security. So we still have all other agencies working with us. And the same thing goes for the alternative routes. So it's been a very fine collaboration with other agencies. And it's still going to be sustained to the end of the program.
Okay, let's make it clear now. The closure of that section of the 3rd Mainland Bridge and the diversion of the workforce to other sections is not an indication that there will be checks on the road by your men and the other men of the force?
When you say there's total closure, that means there's going to be barrier.
No, I'm talking about checks of that cause traffic on the road, checking of vehicle particulars,
No, we've not done that on alternative routes.
Okay.
The working of the men on alternative route is strictly traffic control. We've not been doing any enforcement, with the exception of a recastrant driver that is trying to break or cause commotion along that route. So it's been a very perfect relationship between the agencies, that the men that are managing the traffic, and the road users.
Let's quickly take an overview of the past few months that we have had the partial closure, I don't want to use, of the 3rd Mainland Bridge. How has it been, trying to control motorists in Lagos when we talk about the traffic situation? Like I said earlier, there's been a lot of Lagosians have had mixed feelings with regards to that.
It is expected. Even under the normal circumstances, you know what gridlock is, and the traffic in Lagos has been. Talk of now having this partial closure. It's been give and take. We've had our own share. Some of our men have been brushed, humiliated, embarrassed because of impatience of some of the motoring public. And we also appreciate where they are coming from because of the pockets of problems and inconveniences that they encounter. So it's just what we have to manage for now. If I sit down here to tell you that it's been easy, I'll be deceiving the Lagosians that are passing through, because I do pass through the same roads, and I know what it takes. So we just continue to plead for their understanding. But I can assure you, even after the opening of the 3rd Mainland Bridge, we'll still continue to manage traffic in Lagos because of the huge vehicular movements.
Okay. Let's talk about handling of hoodlums around that axis now. We hear, or I've heard people who complain about the fact that going on the 3rd Mainland and diverting towards Ibuta-Meta-Yaba axis, some hoodlums block the road and try to extort money from people.
Right.
How do you intend to handle that?
The security agencies were actually informed, and police are on top of that game. Yes, they are intervening accordingly.
Okay.
All right, so building on, looking at the challenges that your men has faced in trying to address the traffic situation due to that partial closure, what are we going to be building on to see perhaps how better we can manage traffic situation once it is opened?
Sensitizing members of the public. The road is not the problem. The vehicles might not really be the problem, but the attitude of the motoring public. The man that sees a little gridlock and decides to take one way. The man that sees the traffic agency telling him to stop and allow other person to park, and he pushes the enforcer. The man that feels it is his right, even when he could still give a measure of courtesy for other road users. These are the attitude we are going to manage even after the 3rd Mainland Bridge must have been completed. And that's what we've been managing in Lagos. And I want to plead with members of the public. You know, issue of gridlock is just a matter of having an understanding. That time you use in struggling with the other road users will as well be spent in giving courtesy and allowing them to go. When you get involved in a crash, all the days and time
wasted.